Colby Covington. Sorry, mine went blank for a second. I don't know if he should get the next title shot. I really don't. He beat Tyron Woodley. Fair enough. He looked great, and Tyron's a former champion. But he did fight the champ before that, and he got knocked out. He got stopped. I want to see him fight him again. I think the first fight was fantastic, so it's nothing against Colby. But there's other people that are deserving. You know, I mean, Leon Edwards, if he beats Nate Diaz, that has to happen for sure. It's long overdue. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, if he beats Gilbert Burns, which isn't an easy fight, I want to see that fight. I truly believe out of everybody, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's probably got the best chance. Kamaru's incredible. Yeah, I'm so high on his fighting ability. He's a smart guy. He's a good person. He's a class act, and I love watching him fight. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has got such a unique style, and if you look at that fight he had against Jeff Neal, I was blown away. I was calling that fight. I was ringside, and I couldn't believe the display of technique and athleticism that I was watching. It was mind-blowing. It was such a good performance. And honestly, I don't know if I'm biased or whatever, because I'm sitting there cage side and watching. I'm thinking, wow, this guy's incredible. But I fail to see how anyone beats him right now.
Helen here in California. Always great to be back at Michael Bisping's beautiful residence and beautiful home. Thank you so much for your time. Always great to catch up with the Hall of Famer, and you have one of the best Twitter accounts ever.
Oh, really? Okay, okay, yeah. I always forget about the Twitter, and I always forget. No, what I mean is I always forget about the people that follow it. You know, like some people, they say, oh, I saw that tweet. I'm like, oh, crap, that wasn't designed for you. Because sometimes, you know, there's a bit of colourful language on there, and there's a little bit of, you know, I can be aggressive on there a little bit, you know, but then I think, oh, crap, you know, maybe corporate people, maybe my in-laws, you know what I mean? When I'm using certain words, I forget, and you're a very nice person, you know. Alfie! Sorry about that. There's the dog right on cue. But yeah, great to see you, Helen. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you, speaking of your Twitter account, you do such a great job broadcasting the fights, right? And commentating. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like a minute later, you're responding to trolls on Twitter.
Yeah, I got to stop doing that. I got to stop. In fact, one of the producers afterwards recently says, Mike, listen, you know, you do a great job, but you're trending on Twitter at the same time. You know what I mean? And I don't want to do that. I don't want to take away from the broadcast, of course. But, you know, you go on there and most of the time it's a bit of fun. But Saturday night I saw one and I didn't respond. But like somebody... You know, for the most part, people are very supportive, and thank you everyone that says nice things. And for the most part, I think people enjoy my commentary. But you can't please everybody. And somebody tagged me Saturday night when I was commentating at Bisping. Your commentary sucks. UFC, please replace this man. And I was like, hold on. So you're calling for my job. You want me to get fired. You tagged me in it as well. And like, how do I not respond to that? Do you know what I mean? You know, but I didn't. I took the high road, Helen.
You blocked or deleted?
No, I just forgot about it. I just moved on with my life. And believe it or not, it's a great way to live your life. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You don't have to fight every single battle that comes your way.
Yeah, like they say, haters are your biggest fans anyway. But
I don't think she was. She was not my biggest fan. She wanted me fired, but still, nonetheless, there's a lot of good people out there.
Yeah, always taking the high road, just like you told the Schmo about your friendship with Luke Rockhold. I spoke to him last weekend. He's kind of trying to get a big fight, but claims that some of the top names in that division have turned him down. So in your opinion, who do you think makes the most sense for his return?
Yeah, well, listen, I would understand to a certain degree why some of the people wouldn't want to fight him. Luke's a tremendous fighter. He's a hell of an athlete, and he's got legitimate skills. He's got great striking. He's potentially even better on the ground, and he's a big middleweight. Excuse me. He had a bad skid. You know, he lost 3 fights by a knockout. You know, it happens. But he's taking some time away. I know he's talking big. I know he's mentioned Adesanya and people like that. Of course, it's far too soon for that. But honestly, I saw the headline. He said the middleweight division is ripe for the taking or something like that. I wouldn't say it's ripe for the taking, but I fail to see how Luke Rockhold cannot compete with those people and potentially become a champion again.
Well, do you think for him, it's better for him to kind of just sit and see how some of these upcoming fights play out?
Yeah. I mean, he's got to fight. He's got to fight. He's got to come back. I mean, he's taking his time. He's in the gym. I saw him this morning. You know, he's looking good. He's always in shape. But you got to fight, simple as that. And he's not getting any younger. I don't know his age, but still that is a factor to consider as well. So the longer you stay out, any fighters, these fighters that don't fight very frequently, I mean, the Diaz's are a perfect example. You know, I mean, everyone wants to see them fight, but you can only do it for so long. Luke, different situation, but still he's on the sidelines. Yeah, I'd like to see Luke fight again. Who wouldn't?
Of course. I think all his fans would as well. But looking at that title picture, I know you spoke to the Schmo about that, Israel versus Marvin in that rematch. Their first fight ended in a split decision. How do you see their second fight kind of playing out?
Yeah, well, I think Marvin's got better. He's certainly improved, but I think also Adesanya's improved. I mean, and I think he's really... You know, he's filled those shoes as champion, if you will, and he's got the swag. We know he's so confident, but he's confident for a reason. He's confident because his striking is some of the best we've ever seen in the UFC. You know, he's the new Anderson Silva. He doesn't like that, but still, the way Anderson Silva would wow people back in the day, Adesanya has the capability to do that. So he's a tremendous fighter. He's wiped out the division, and he's already beaten Marvin once. So it would be disrespectful to say that he can't do that again. However, Marvin's a big guy. He's a strong guy. He's a big middleweight. He's got better. He's got good wrestling. And he's got an attitude problem as well, which I love. Because as a fighter, you need that chip on your shoulder. Everyone's a little bit too nice. Marvin does not give a fuck. Okay, he doesn't give a shit. He wants to fight. And I remember once, it was Jacksonville, I forget who was meant to fight, Carl Robertson or someone, and the fight got cancelled, and he was going crazy in the hotel lobby, which again I love. This is what you want to see from fighters. It's never mind, oh, it's a bow and respect. And come on, they're going to fight. You want to see a bit of that, and I love it. But still, me and Marvin, we've gone back and forth. When I was the champ, he was calling me out, and in my typical fashion on Twitter, I gave him some abuse. And anyway, I'm in the hotel. It's the morning. I'm coming downstairs for my morning coffee, right? I'm still bleary-eyed. May or may not had a couple of drinks the night before, so I'm still half asleep. And I hear all this commotion when I'm waiting in line to get a coffee. And then I look round, and it's Marvin Vettori losing his mind. And I was like, oh, God, burying my mind, because I haven't even woke up yet. I don't need Marvin attacking me in the morning. I'm just trying to get my coffee. You know what I'm saying? So I may or may not have buried my head a little bit. But no, me and Marvin are great now. He came on the podcast. He's awesome. I think that's going to be a great fight. I really do.
John Jones posted today on his Instagram that he's hired Richard Schaefer to kind of be his advisor. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's trying to get all the help he can. He wants the best deal possible and bringing on people that are skilled and know the landscape and have history. You know, good for him. You know, you want to get good advice. You know, you always want the best manager you can have. I've always been lucky. I had Audi Attar and Paradigm Sports Management at the helm. That's what you want. What we want to see as fans is John Jones fight again, fighting at heavyweight, preferably against Ngannou. If not that, then the winner. Yeah. All this would suggest that they're going to be pushing for an even harder deal. Yeah, I know he was talking 30 million, whatever. I don't want to get into the financial side. It's not my place to speak about that. But at the same time, and I'm a huge fan of John. I like him as a person. I think he's had a tremendous career. I've always had good interactions with John, so I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about the guy, because also as a martial artist and as a colleague, you have to respect the body of work that John Jones has had. But also at the same time, it gets a little frustrating when potentially he's pricing himself out the market. I understand he knows his worth and he has got a high worth and he should be paid accordingly. But still, you know, throwing around $30 million, I just don't think it's going to happen. And an interesting observation that I had on the podcast last week, a friend of mine was on, and we were talking about Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. And how that fight didn't happen because Fury's fighting Wilder again. And I said, well, why did that take so long? And they said, well, the second Fury fight, Fury and Wilder, actually lost money because the fighters got paid too much. You know, so if we followed that model, and by the way, I'm all for fighters getting more money. Of course I am. I'm fighter first all the time. But if everybody started getting paid these crazy purses, you know, the UFC wouldn't do as well. And the UFC potentially would not have as many fights. And a lot of people would lose their jobs and the roster would go a lot smaller. Now, of course, Jones doesn't care about that. He's out for himself, as he should be as a fighter. I'm just a fan. I want to see him fight again. Hopefully we get to see it soon.
Well, that heavyweight rematch for that title will be Francis Ngannou versus Derrick Lewiss. I believe it will be in the summertime. They're targeting August. Who do you think wins that rematch?
Well, I don't know. As long as it's not like the first one, that's all I care about. That was one of the worst fights you'll ever see. Simple as that. They both know it as well. And Lewiss only won the fight because he did marginally more than Ngannou. Now, granted, you know, these are two people that you got to tread very carefully around. Far be it from me to be talking smack about Francis and Derrick Lewiss, because I don't want to meet either of them. Okay, I'm retired and they're way out of my weight class. Even though I'm getting a little heavier these days, I'm still way behind them. You know, listen, if you're standing in there with another person that has the ability to knock you out, and both of them are the hardest hitters in the division, it's you know, it takes courage, and you understand why they wouldn't be so quick to step into the pocket and trade blows. But the reality is, unfortunately, is that that's what we get paid to do, and you have to do that. And there's a lot of time I went in there and fought people that hit harder than me, but you still got to bite down on your mouthpiece. You still got to take those chances. And in the past, when they fought people that have gone at them, they've been the one with their hardcore power, but people have still tried to challenge them. So they're going to meet. And because of the first fight, I think they're going to be under immense pressure to perform. So I think that first round is going to be absolutely wild, and someone's going to go to sleep. Don't ask me who, because I don't want Lewiss or Ngannou coming after me.
But it may actually be in Houston. That's what Kevin Ioli tweeted, and that's kind of Derrick's home.
That's his backyard. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's going to help. It's always nice. I mean, I was undefeated in the UK. I don't know if that's because of the crowd, but I kind of feel like it was. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, when you're in there and you're competing, it's just you and your opponent. But knowing that essentially the whole building and those 20,000 people are generally on your side does give you that extra little boost. You know, if you're stuck in a position or whatever, and you even think about giving up, you think, no, I can't, because this place is going crazy for me. So, yeah, that's going to help Derrick for sure. But as we know, Ngannou, he's cool, calm, collected, and all he needs is not even one shot, 0.025 of a shot. Just ask Cain Velasquez. That wasn't flush. You know what I mean? He does not need to hit you flush. He just needs a glancing blow.
And lastly, another huge trilogy going down this summer, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, their third fight. Who do you think it favors going into this trilogy?
Well, I think the way you asked the question, who does it favor? Right now, it would have to favor Dustin. And the reason I say that is because, well, they just fought and Dustin just knocked him out. Of course, coming into this, they're one apiece. But when Conor knocked out Dustin, that was a long, long time ago. You know,
at 145.
At 145, of course. So the ability to take a shot for Dustin is a little more improved. We saw he took the shots against Conor the first time. But I got to say, I respect Conor here. You got to listen. I know a lot of people, you know, some of his antics, whatever. I can't say anything. My God, my antics were out of control. But you got to respect what he's doing here, because I know personally, to walk back into an octagon and fight somebody that just knocked you out cold and left you on the canvas, to fight that person again immediately afterwards without getting a tune-up fight, you know, without getting a warm-up fight, get somebody a little bit lower to boost your mojo, to get your confidence back. That takes a lot of balls. You know, so you got to respect what Conor's doing here. How will the fight go? I'm assuming will be the next question. And who knows? I mean, they've both knocked each other out. They both have tremendous skills. You know, I think because of the momentum, because of the recent knockout, maybe you lean towards Dustin. But you can never underestimate Conor McGregor, as we know. And he's a very wealthy man. He's got untold riches. But the one thing you can't buy is a UFC championship. And we know that Conor holds his fighting ability and his fighting reputation dear to his heart. So while most people that have all these riches maybe wouldn't push themselves or apply themselves, as I say, for Conor, he holds his reputation as a fighter just as high as he holds his bank account, I would assume. You know what I mean? Maybe not quite as high. Maybe a little bit less. I don't know. His fucking bank account's through the roof, let's be honest. But still, the point I'm saying is he's going to be motivated for this fight, because you cannot buy respect. You have to earn it. And the way he earns it is going out and beating Dustin Poirier. Listen, I respect what Conor's doing. You got to respect Dustin as well. It's going to be a tremendous fight, and it could go either way.
Very well said. And for your fans, they could catch you on tour, right? In the UK this fall?
Apparently so. Yeah, myticket.co.uk. Tales from the Octagon, myself and Luis J. Gomez from my podcast. He's going to do a stand-up set, warm the crowd up, then I'll come out. I'll tell a few stories that are going to blow people's minds, you know, talk about my whole journey from when before I was in the sport, going to prison, sleeping in my car, working in a slaughterhouse, losing an eye, becoming champion of the world. I've got quite the story to tell. I've got a few anecdotes, and it's going to be a laugh. So myticket.co.uk if you want to buy a ticket.